Pearson Test of English academic vocabulary with description and a using cases. These are words for effective passing of Pearson Test of English academic exam from the official preparation site. The word, its description and usage are provided. Happy learning. Crumble. Crumble means to break or fall apart into small pieces, often referring to baked goods. It can also describe the disintegration or collapse of something figuratively. The old book's pages had begun to crumble with age, making it fragile to handle. Crumple. Crumple means to crush or wrinkle something, often paper or fabric, causing it to lose its original shape. It can also describe a person's physical collapse or emotional breakdown. I accidentally stepped on the paper, causing it to crumple under my foot. Crust. Crust refers to the outer layer of bread or pastry, often crispy. It can also signify the earth's rigid outer layer or a hard outer surface of something. I love the crispy crust of freshly baked bread. Cunning. Cunning can describe a person's cleverness or skill in deceiving or outsmarting others. It can also refer to something attractive or charming in a sly or deceitful way. The cunning fox outwitted the hunters and escaped into the forest. Cupboard. Cupboard typically refers to a piece of furniture with shelves or compartments used for storage, especially in a kitchen. It can also describe a small closet or enclosed storage space. I found a hidden treasure in the back of the cupboard, a forgotten box of old photographs. Curl. Curl means to twist or form into a spiral or ringlet, often describing hair. It can also refer to a curved or spiral shape or movement. She used a curling iron to create perfect curls in her hair for the special occasion. Curtail. Curtail means to reduce or shorten something, typically by cutting or limiting it. It can also describe the act of restraining or limiting someone's freedom or rights. Due to budget constraints, the company had to curtail its expansion plans for the upcoming year. Cushion. Cushion can refer to a soft pad or pillow used for comfort or support. It can also describe a protective barrier or shock absorber, like a car's airbag. I added an extra cushion to the chair for more comfort during long hours of work. Custodian. Custodian refers to a person responsible for taking care of or managing something, such as a building. It can also denote a person who has legal guardianship or custody of another person. The custodian diligently cleaned and maintained the school building every day. Dairy. Dairy refers to a facility or farm where milk is produced, processed, and dairy products are made. It can also describe food products made from milk, like cheese and yogurt. I bought some fresh milk and cheese from the local dairy farm. Damp. Damp can mean slightly wet or moist. It can also describe a lack of enthusiasm or spirits, as in a dampened mood. After the rain, the ground in the garden felt damp to the touch. Dart. Dart can refer to a small, pointed missile or a sudden, swift movement. It's both a noun and a verb describing these actions. He threw a dart at the dartboard, aiming for the bullseye. Dash. The word dash has two primary meanings. It can signify a quick, energetic movement or a small amount of something added for flavor or style. She made a dash for the finish line, determined to win the race. Dazzle. Dazzle can mean to impress or overwhelm with brilliance or to confuse temporarily with a bright light. It's both about impressive brightness and causing momentary confusion. The sparkling diamonds in her necklace seemed to dazzle everyone in the room. Deadlock. Deadlock refers to a situation where opposing parties are unable to proceed due to mutual resistance. It can also describe a complete standstill or impasse. The negotiations between the two countries reached a deadlock, with neither side willing to compromise. Dearth. Dearth primarily means a scarcity or shortage of something, often related to food or resources. In a broader sense, it can refer to a lack or insufficiency of anything essential. The drought caused a dearth of fresh produce in the region, leading to food shortages. Deceive. Deceive means to mislead or trick someone intentionally, often by concealing the truth. It can also refer to creating a false impression or causing someone to believe something untrue. He tried to deceive his friends by pretending to be someone else online, but they eventually discovered his true identity. Decrepit. Decrepit describes something as extremely old and in a state of disrepair, often referring to a person's frailty due to age. It can also imply weakness or ineffectiveness in non-literal contexts. The abandoned house at the end of the street looked decrepit and in desperate need of repairs. Deem. Deem means to judge or consider something in a particular way. It involves forming an opinion or belief about a subject or situation based on one's judgment or assessment. The jury will deem the defendant innocent or guilty based on the evidence presented in the trial. Default. Default can refer to failure to fulfill an obligation or meet a requirement. Often in financial contexts, it can also mean the preset settings on a device or system. If you don't make your mortgage payments on time, the bank may declare a default on your loan. Defiance. Defiance primarily means resistance or open refusal to obey authority or rules. It can also denote a challenging attitude or bold resistance to something. Her act of defiance against the unjust law inspired others to join the protest. Deficiency. Deficiency mainly refers to a lack or shortage of something essential. It can also indicate a condition of being inadequate or incomplete. The doctor diagnosed the patient with a vitamin deficiency and prescribed supplements to address the issue. Defile. Defile primarily means to desecrate or pollute, often a sacred place or something pure. It can also refer to the act of dirtying or corrupting morally. The hikers were careful not to defile the pristine wilderness by leaving any trash behind. Definitive. Definitive typically means conclusive or final, settling an issue definitively. It can also denote the most authoritative or complete source on a subject. The scientists' groundbreaking research provided a definitive answer to the long-standing question in the field. Deflate. Deflate means to release or reduce air or gas from something, like a tire. It also means to diminish or reduce the value, importance, or ego of someone or something. The punctured tire began to slowly deflate, causing the car to ride unevenly. Deflect. Deflect means to divert or change the direction of something, like a ball bouncing off a wall. It can also mean to avoid or evade a question or responsibility. He tried to deflect the criticism by changing the topic of conversation. Defraud. Defraud means to deceive someone, typically for financial gain, by using dishonest or illegal methods. It can also refer to the act of swindling or cheating others through deceitful actions. The fraudulent scheme was designed to defraud unsuspecting investors out of their savings. Deft. Deft describes someone who is skillful, quick, and precise in their actions, often with their hands. It can also refer to being adept or proficient in a particular task or craft. With deft hands, the chef skillfully prepared a gourmet meal for the guests. Defy. Defy has two main meanings. 1. To openly resist or oppose authority or rules. 2. To challenge or prove wrong by refusing to conform. Despite the odds, he decided to defy all expectations and pursue his dream of becoming an astronaut. Delectable. Delectable has two main meanings. 1. Extremely pleasing to the senses, especially taste. 2. Highly delightful or enjoyable in general. The dessert was absolutely delectable, with its rich chocolate flavor and creamy texture. Delinquency. Delinquency has two main meanings. 1. Failure to fulfill a duty or responsibility, often used in legal contexts. 2. Involvement in illegal or antisocial activities, especially by young people. The school counselor addressed the issue of student delinquency through educational programs and support. Delude. Delude has two main meanings. 1. To deceive or mislead someone, often by giving false or misleading information. 2. To hold false or unrealistic beliefs or hopes. Don't let anyone delude you into believing something that isn't true. Deluge. Deluge has two main meanings. 1. A heavy, continuous rain or flood. 2. An overwhelming quantity or amount of something, often used figuratively. The heavy rain caused a deluge of water, flooding the streets. Denote. Denote has two main meanings. 1. To indicate or represent something explicitly. 2. To be a sign or symbol of something, conveying meaning or information. The red traffic light is meant to denote that you should stop your vehicle. Deplete. Deplete has two main meanings. 1. To exhaust or reduce the quantity or availability of a resource. 2. To diminish or use up something gradually, often referring to energy or supplies. After a long hike, I realized that my water bottle was nearly depleted, and I needed to find a water source soon. Depletion. Depletion has two main meanings. 1. The act or process of reducing the quantity or availability of a resource. 2. A state of diminished quantity or a significant reduction in something, such as energy or resources. The depletion of the ozone layer is a serious environmental concern. Deplore. Depletion has two main meanings. 1. The act or process of reducing the quantity or availability of a resource. 2. A state of diminished quantity or a significant reduction in something, such as energy or resources. I deplore the act of littering in our beautiful park.